Hey everyone, welcome back to another deep dive.
Right.
Today we're going to be talking about something that I think is on a lot of people's minds.
For sure.
And that is the economy and personal finance.
Yeah, absolutely.
And in particular, we're going to be looking at two words and really understanding what they mean.
Okay.
Those words are recession and broke.
Two big ones.
Yeah. And, we hear these words thrown around all the time, but what do they actually mean?
Right.
And how can understanding them help us in our own lives?
Yeah, I think it's super important to understand the language of finance in general so
Yeah.
we can make informed decisions about our money.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's start by kind of setting the scene here.
Okay.
Imagine you're sitting at your kitchen table.
Right, I can do that.
You've got a stack of bills in front of you,
Uh-oh.
and you're looking at your bank account balance, and it's not looking so great.
Yeah, that's a familiar feeling for a lot of people.
Yeah, I think we've all been there at some point, right?
Oh, for sure.
So how do we kind of unpack these feelings of stress and worry?
Right.
And how do we start to understand the bigger picture of what's going on in the economy and how it affects us personally?
Well, I think a good place to start is by defining these terms that we hear so much about.
Yeah. Okay. So let's tackle recession first.
Okay.
What exactly is a recession?
Well, recession is technically defined as a period of significant economic decline.
Okay.
It's marked by things like job losses, falling stock prices,
Right.
businesses closing, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So it's not just like a little dip in the economy. It's a more prolonged period of decline.
Yeah, and it can have a real ripple effect
Right.
on people's lives and finances.
Okay. So how does that connect to this feeling of being broke?
Well, when the economy takes a hit and people start losing their jobs and facing financial uncertainty, that's when that feeling of being broke can really set in.
So it's like a direct consequence of the recession in a lot of cases.
Often, yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about broke then.
Okay.
Is it just about not having any money in your bank account, or is there more to it?
It's definitely more than just an empty wallet.
Oh.
It's that feeling of being strapped, worried, maybe even a little bit panicked about money.
Right.
It's a state of mind as much as a financial reality.
Yeah, and I think it's important to acknowledge that everyone experiences these feelings at some point.
Totally.
It's nothing to be ashamed of.
Absolutely not. It's completely normal.
Okay, so we've got these two big concepts, recession and broke,
Right.
and they often seem to go hand in hand.
They do.
But how do they actually play out in real life?
Yeah, how do they affect people on a day-to-day basis?
Let's introduce a fictional character to help us illustrate.
All right.
We'll call him Charlie.
Okay, Charlie.
So Charlie's lost his job due to the recession.
Uh-oh.
His expenses haven't changed, but his income has taken a major hit.
Right.
And now he's facing that dreaded moment of having to ask a friend for help.
Ooh. That's never easy.
No, it's not. So imagine Charlie's about to make that call to his friend.
Okay.
He's going to ask for a loan.
Yeah.
And as you might expect, it's not the easiest conversation to have.
Yeah. Those conversations can be really tough.
So let's listen in on that phone call.
Okay.
I'm curious to hear how it goes.
Me too.
In a nervous, hesitant voice. Hey, it's Charlie. Listen, I hate to do this,
Oh, boy.
but things have been really tough since I lost my job.
Yeah.
This recession has hit everyone pretty hard, and, well, to be honest, I'm pretty broke right now.
Oh, man.
I was wondering if maybe you could spot me some cash just until I can get back on my feet.
No.
My mortgage payment is due, and I really don't want to lose my house.
In a kind but slightly hesitant voice. Oh, man, Charlie. I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Things have been a bit tight for me as well since the downturn, but let me see what I can do.
Okay. Even just listening in on that, you can feel the weight of that conversation, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Like you can hear the stress in Charlie's voice.
Yeah. And his friend's response kind of indicates that they're feeling the effects of the recession too.
Right. It's like a domino effect.
Fully.
Okay. So let's rewind that conversation for a second and break down some of the key vocabulary we heard.
Okay, sounds good.
We've got recession, broke, loan, mortgage, and that phrase hit me pretty hard.
Yeah. Those are all important pieces of the puzzle.
Right. And understanding them can help us make better sense of situations like Charlie's.
Absolutely. It's all about building financial literacy.
So let's start with loan.
Okay.
What's the technical definition of a loan, and how does it apply to Charlie's situation?
So a loan is basically an agreement where someone lends money to another person
Right.
with the understanding that the borrowed money will be repaid, usually with interest.
Okay.
So in Charlie's case, he's hoping his friend will lend him some money to help cover his expenses until he can find a new job.
Makes sense. It's like a temporary financial safety net.
Exactly.
And speaking of safety nets, what about that mortgage word Charlie mentioned?
Oh, yeah.
That's a specific kind of loan, right?
It's a mortgage is a loan that's specifically used to buy a property, like a house or a condo.
Okay.
And it's usually a long-term loan, often spanning 15 or 30 years, with the property itself serving as collateral.
So if Charlie can't make his mortgage payments, he risks losing his home.
Unfortunately, yes, that's the risk with mortgages.
Wow, that definitely adds to the stress he's feeling.
For sure.
And what about that phrase hit me pretty hard?
Oh, yeah.
It seems like it's about more than just the financial impact.
Right. It speaks to the emotional weight of the situation.
Right.
Losing a job during a recession can be a real blow to your confidence and your sense of security.
Yeah, it's not just about the numbers. It's about the whole range of emotions that come with financial hardship.
Absolutely. It can be a really tough time.
So we're talking about the intersection of money and emotions,
Right.
which can be a pretty complicated space to navigate.
It can be.
It's not just about dollars and cents. It's about how financial situations impact people's lives on a deeper level.
I agree. And the more comfortable we are talking about these things, the better equipped we are to support ourselves and others during tough times.
Absolutely.
It's about building financial literacy and resilience.
All right, so we've unpacked loan and mortgage, and we've explored how that phrase hit me pretty hard.
Yeah.
Highlights the emotional toll of financial stress.
Right.
But what about that word broke?
Okay.
How can we use that word more effectively in our own conversations about money?
That's a great question, and it leads us to a crucial point. How we communicate about money matters.
Okay, so it's not just about knowing the terms.
Right.
It's about using them confidently and clearly.
Exactly. So let's shift gears for a moment.
Okay.
And talk about fluency, specifically how to sound more confident and in control when discussing money matters.
I love it.
Think of this as a quick toolkit
Okay.
for navigating those sometimes awkward financial conversations.
Give us the tools.
All right, so first up, instead of saying, "Can I help you?"
Which can sound a bit passive.
Yeah, which can sound a bit passive, try, "What can I do for you?"
Ooh, I like that.
This subtly shifts the power dynamic and makes you sound more proactive and in control.
It's a subtle change, but it really does make a difference.
Right.
Okay, what else?
Instead of saying, "I'm sorry to bother you,"
Which can make you sound unsure of yourself.
yeah, try, "I'm really sorry to trouble you."
Okay,
It adds a touch more formality and respect to the situation.
those are great tips. I think we often fall into those habitual phrases without realizing how they might be impacting the conversation.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we're sounding more confident.
Yeah.
What else can we do?
When you're listing multiple financial concerns,
Okay.
instead of repeatedly using, and also
Right.
try on top of all that,
Okay.
it creates a stronger sense of buildup
Yeah.
and emphasizes the cumulative effect of the challenges you're facing.
Those are some seriously helpful tips for sounding more confident when talking about money.
I hope so.
But I'm curious, how do these tips apply to someone like Charlie, who's in a pretty vulnerable position?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
For someone like Charlie who's feeling the pressure of being broke and needing to ask for help, using confident language can actually be even more important.
That's interesting. So it's not about masking his vulnerability.
Right.
It's about communicating his needs clearly and assertively.
Exactly. It's about advocating for himself and showing that even though he's facing financial challenges,
Right.
he's still in control of the situation. It's about owning his narrative.
I see. So by using clear and confident language, even in a tough situation, Charlie can project a sense of agency and self-respect.
Precisely. And that can make a big difference in how others perceive him and how he feels about himself.
Okay.
It's about maintaining dignity even in the face of adversity.
So we've got these communication tools.
Yeah, right.
But how do they actually play out in a conversation?
Let's find out.
Let's rewind that dialogue between Charlie and his friend again.
Okay.
This time, let's listen specifically for how those vocabulary words and phrases, combined with these new communication tips, help Charlie articulate his needs more effectively.
Sounds good. Let's see how those tweaks to his language can make a difference.
Okay, round two,
All right.
in a slightly more confident voice. Hey, it's Charlie. Listen, I'm really sorry to trouble you, but I wanted to see what you might be able to do.
Oh.
Things have been rough since I lost my job. This recession has hit everyone pretty hard, and to be honest, I'm pretty broke right now. I was wondering if you might be able to spot me some cash just until I can land a new job.
Okay.
My mortgage payment is due, and I really don't want to lose my house on top of all that I've got.
In a kind but slightly hesitant voice. Oh man, Charlie. I'm so sorry to hear that things have been a bit tight for me as well since the downturn, but let me see what I can do.
Okay, so even though Charlie's still feeling the pressure,
Yeah,
you can hear a subtle shift in his tone, right?
definitely. Even though he's asking for help, there's a sense of agency in his voice. He's not just pleading.
Right.
He's clearly stating his needs and outlining his situation.
He's using more confident language.
Yeah,
Like, I'm really sorry to trouble you instead of I'm sorry to bother you.
right.
And that, on top of all that, really drives home the weight of this situation.
Exactly. And notice how he specifically mentions the recession as a factor in his job loss.
Yeah.
That helps his friend understand that this isn't just a personal problem, it's a widespread economic issue that's impacting many people.
It adds context to his situation. Right?
Absolutely.
It's not just Charlie's bad luck. It's a force larger than himself that's created this challenging situation.
Right. And by using the word broke, he's not shying away from the reality of his financial situation. He's being honest and direct, which can actually make him appear more trustworthy and deserving of help.
It's interesting how being upfront about your financial struggles can actually work in your favor.
It can.
It's not about pretending everything is fine.
Right.
It's about being transparent and owning your story.
Exactly. And remember, that phrase hit me pretty hard.
Yeah.
It's a powerful way to convey the emotional impact of the situation without getting overly dramatic.
Okay.
It allows him to express vulnerability without sounding defeated.
So by combining those key vocabulary words with those subtle communication tweaks,
Yeah.
Charlie's able to have a more confident and effective conversation, even when he's in a vulnerable position.
Precisely. It highlights how important it is to master the language of money, not just for practical reasons, but for emotional resilience as well.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about Charlie's situation, but let's zoom out for a second.
Right.
Why should our listeners care about mastering this financial vocabulary?
Good question.
What's the big picture takeaway here?
It's about empowerment.
Right.
When you understand the language of finance, you're better equipped to navigate your own financial journey, advocate for yourself, and make informed decisions.
It's like having a secret decoder ring for the world of money.
Exactly.
Suddenly, all those confusing terms and conversations start to make sense.
Right. And beyond the practical benefits, there's also a confidence boost that comes with being financially fluent.
Oh, yeah?
You're no longer intimidated by jargon or complex concepts. You can hold your own in conversations about money and feel more secure in your financial decisions.
So it's not just about avoiding those awkward moments when someone throws out a financial term you don't understand.
Right.
It's about taking control of your financial life.
Yeah,
And feeling empowered to make choices that align with your goals.
absolutely. And that feeling of empowerment can make a huge difference in your overall well-being,
Right.
especially during challenging economic times.
So we've covered recession broke, and we dove into how loans work in general. But Charlie's situation brings up a specific type of loan that we should probably unpack a bit more: mortgages.
Oh yeah, mortgages, those are big ones.
Yeah, we all know that buying a house is a big deal.
Absolutely.
And the thought of losing your home because of a recession can be terrifying.
For sure. It's a major stressor for a lot of people.
So let's demystify mortgages a bit.
Okay.
We already know that a mortgage is a loan used to buy a property.
Right.
But there are actually different types of mortgages,
Yeah.
each with its own set of terms and conditions.
Okay, so it's not just a one-size-fits-all kind of deal.
Not at all.
Okay, so what are some of the different types of mortgages?
Well, for example, there are fixed rate mortgages where the interest rate stays the same
Okay.
over the life of the loan. And then there are adjustable rate mortgages where the interest rate can fluctuate over time.
So with a fixed rate mortgage, you know exactly what your monthly payment will be for the entire term of the loan,
Exactly.
which can be reassuring for budgeting purposes.
Right.
But with an adjustable rate mortgage, your payments could go up or down depending on market conditions.
That's right.
And that can make it harder to plan for the future, especially if interest rates start to rise.
Absolutely.
That makes sense. So choosing the right type of mortgage is crucial.
It is.
And it probably depends on your individual circumstances and risk tolerance.
But what happens if someone like Charlie is struggling to make their mortgage payments?
Yeah, that's a tough situation.
Are there options available to help them avoid foreclosure?
Absolutely. There are resources available to help homeowners who are facing financial difficulties.
Okay, cool.
For example, they might be able to negotiate a loan modification with their lender,
Okay.
which could involve lowering the interest rate or extending the term of the loan.
So there's hope for Charlie,
There is
even if he's feeling the pressure right now.
definitely, and it's important to remember that lenders don't actually want to foreclose on homes.
Right.
It's a costly and time-consuming process for them, too.
Yeah.
So they're often willing to work with borrowers to find a solution that benefits both parties.
Okay, so we've demystified mortgages a bit
Yeah.
and talked about some potential solutions for homeowners who are facing financial hardship. But beyond mortgages, what other financial terms should our listeners be familiar with?
Well, let's talk about budgeting, which is essentially creating a plan for how you'll spend and save your money.
Budgeting.
Yeah, it's a foundational skill for anyone who wants to be financially savvy.
Right. It's one of those things everyone knows they should do,
Right.
but it can feel so overwhelming. Where do you even begin?
You're right. Budgeting can feel daunting, but it doesn't have to be.
Okay, so how do we make it less daunting?
A good starting point is simply to track your income and expenses
Okay.
for a month or two. See where your money is actually going.
Track everything.
Yeah, this will give you a clear picture of your spending habits, which is crucial for making informed decisions.
So it's about awareness first.
Exactly.
Seeing the patterns in your spending before you try to make any changes.
Right. Once you have a good understanding of your cash flow, you can start setting realistic financial goals.
Okay, so you've tracked your income and expenses.
Yeah.
You've set some goals now. What,
What?
how do you actually create a budget that works for you?
There are different budgeting methods out there,
Okay.
but one popular approach is the 50-30-20 rule.
What's that?
This involves allocating 50% of your after-tax income to needs, 30% to wants, and 20% to savings and debt repayment.
5D3020. I like it.
It's a good framework.
It's catchy.
It is.
But what exactly falls into the needs category versus the wants category?
Oh, that's a good question.
Is there a clear distinction?
So needs are your essential expenses, the things you absolutely need to survive and function in society.
Okay.
This includes things like housing, food, utilities, transportation, and healthcare.
Got it. Those are the non-negotiables.
Pretty much.
And what about wants?
Wants, on the other hand, are the things that enhance your life,
Okay.
but aren't essential for survival.
So things like entertainment, dining out, travel hobbies.
Exactly, the fun stuff.
Right, the things that make life worth living.
Right, but the key with budgeting is to find a balance that works for you.
Yeah.
It's not about depriving yourself. It's about making conscious choices about how you spend your money.
So it's about aligning your spending with your values and priorities.
Absolutely.
Making sure your money is working for you, not against you.
Exactly. And that 20% allocated to savings and debt repayment is crucial for building financial stability and achieving your long-term goals.
Speaking of long-term goals, what about investing?
Oh, investing. That's a big one.
It's a word that gets thrown around a lot, but it can feel pretty intimidating for beginners.
It can be, but it doesn't have to be.
Okay, so what is investing in the simplest terms?
Investing is essentially putting your money to work for you
Okay.
with the goal of growing it over time.
I like that, putting your money to work.
Right. It's a way to build wealth and secure your financial future.
But it involves risk, right?
It does.
You could potentially lose money too.
That's true. Investing does involve risk, but it's important to remember that it's a long-term game.
Okay.
The key is to diversify your investments, meaning you spread your money across different asset classes like stocks, bonds, and real estate.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket, as the saying goes.
Exactly. Diversification helps to mitigate risk
Okay.
and increase your chances of earning positive returns over time.
So how does someone actually get started with investing?
That's a great question.
It can feel pretty overwhelming, especially with all the different investment options out there.
It can be, but the good news is getting started with investing is easier than you might think.
Okay, so what's a good starting point for a beginner?
One common approach is to invest in mutual funds or exchange-traded funds, which are also known as ETFs.
Okay, I've heard of those.
Yeah, these are baskets of stocks that are managed by professionals,
Right.
allowing you to diversify your investments with a single purchase.
So it's like having a team of experts picking stocks for you, rather than trying to do it all yourself.
Right. And many mutual funds and ETFs are designed to track specific market indexes like the S&P 500,
Okay.
making it easy to invest in the overall market without having to pick individual stocks.
That sounds like a good option for someone who's new to investing
It can be.
and wants to take a more hands-off approach.
Exactly. And there are also robo-advisors available, which use algorithms to create personalized investment portfolios
Okay.
based on your risk tolerance and financial goals. They can automate much of the investment process, making it even easier to get started.
So there are definitely options out there for people who are intimidated by the idea of investing.
Absolutely. There's something for everyone.
Okay, so we've covered the basics of investing, but what about those scary headlines about market crashes and recessions?
Uh-oh.
How do those events impact investors, and what can they do to protect themselves?
That's a very timely question.
It is.
It's true, market downturns and recessions are inevitable.
Right, they're part of the economic cycle.
Exactly. But it's important to remember that they're temporary.
Okay.
The stock market has always recovered from past crashes and recessions, and it will likely do so again in the future.
So the key is not to panic and sell everything when the market takes a dip.
Exactly. In fact, market downturns can present buying opportunities for long-term investors.
How so?
When stock prices are lower, you can buy more shares for the same amount of money.
So it's like a sale at your favorite store.
Exactly.
When prices are down, you stock up on the things you want.
Right. But it's crucial to have a long-term investment strategy and not let your emotions dictate your investment decisions.
Okay, so we've talked about investing in the stock market.
Yeah.
But what about other ways to grow your money?
Oh, yeah. There are plenty of other options.
What are some alternative investment options people might consider?
One popular alternative is real estate.
Real estate.
Yeah, investing in rental properties can generate passive income
Okay.
and build long-term wealth.
So you buy a property, rent it out to tenants,
Yeah.
and collect monthly rent payments.
Yes, exactly. It can be a great way to build wealth over time.
That sounds like a good way to diversify your income streams.
It can be.
But what are some of the downsides of real estate investing?
Well, real estate can be illiquid, meaning it's not as easy to sell as stocks or bonds.
Right.
And it requires a significant upfront investment and ongoing maintenance costs.
So it's not for everyone, but it can be a good option for some investors.
For sure.
What about things like bonds or precious metals?
Those are also considered alternative investments.
Okay, so tell me about bonds.
All right, so bonds are essentially loans that you make to governments or corporations.
Right.
They typically offer lower returns than stocks, but they're also generally considered less risky.
So they can be a good option for investors who are looking for a more stable, lower risk investment.
Exactly. And precious metals like gold and silver have historically been seen as a safe haven asset during times of economic uncertainty.
Okay.
However, their prices can fluctuate significantly, so they're not without risk.
So it's important to do your research and understand the risks and potential rewards of any investment
It is.
before you commit your money.
Absolutely.
Diversifying your investments across different asset classes is crucial for mitigating risk
It is.
and maximizing your chances of achieving your financial goals.
Right. And it's all about finding a balance that works for you and your individual risk tolerance.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We have.
We started with understanding those key terms, recession and broke, then explored how loans work,
Yeah.
and even delved into the complex world of budgeting, investing, and alternative investments.
It's been a whirlwind tour of personal finance.
It has, but hopefully our listeners are feeling more informed and empowered to take control of their financial lives.
I hope so.
Okay, so we've got all this knowledge,
Yeah.
but what do we do with it?
That's the big question, right?
How can we apply these concepts to our own lives
Right.
and make smarter financial decisions?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, and it leads us to the most important part of this deep dive action steps.
Okay.
It's not enough just to understand these concepts. We need to put them into practice.
I love it. Actionable advice
That's what we're here for.
is what we're all about here at the Deep Dive.
Absolutely.
So where do we start? What's the first step towards financial empowerment?
The first step is to define your financial goals.
Define your goals.
Yeah. What do you want to achieve with your money?
Okay.
Do you want to pay down debt, buy a house, save for retirement, or simply have more financial security?
Okay, so get clear on what you want your money to do for you.
Exactly.
What's next?
Once you've defined your goals, you can start creating a plan to achieve them.
Okay.
This is where budgeting comes in. Remember the 50-30-20 rule we discussed earlier?
Yeah.
That's a great framework to start with.
Track your income and expenses.
Right.
Allocate your money according to your needs, wants, and savings goals.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to make adjustments along the way. Your budget should be a living document that evolves with your circumstances and priorities.
So it's not set in stone.
Nope, it's a work in progress.
Okay, so we've got our budget in place. We're working towards our goals. What else can we do to level up our financial game?
start investing.
Invest.
Even small amounts of money invested regularly can grow significantly over time,
Yeah.
thanks to the power of compound interest.
Compound interest. What's that all about?
Think of compound interest as earning interest on your interest.
Okay.
It's like a snowball rolling downhill, gathering more and more snow as it goes.
So the earlier you start investing, the more time your money has to grow exponentially.
Exactly. Time is your greatest ally when it comes to investing.
I like that.
So don't wait until you have a large sum of money to get started.
Okay.
Even small, consistent investments can make a big difference in the long run.
All right. So define your goals, create a budget, and start investing.
Those are 3 powerful steps.
Those are 3 powerful action steps. But what about debt?
Oh yeah, debt.
That's a major obstacle for many people on their journey to financial freedom.
It is, but it's not insurmountable.
Okay, so how do we tackle debt?
The key is to create a debt repayment plan and stick to it.
So just like with budgeting, it's about having a strategy
Right.
and taking consistent action.
Exactly. There are different debt repayment methods, such as the snowball method or the avalanche method,
Okay.
which can help you prioritize your debts and pay them down more efficiently.
And what about seeking professional advice?
Oh, that's a good one.
When does it make sense to consult with a financial advisor?
Financial advisors can be a valuable resource,
Okay.
especially if you're feeling overwhelmed or need help creating a personalized financial plan. They can provide guidance on everything from budgeting and investing to retirement planning and estate planning.
This is not just for the wealthy or those approaching retirement.
Not at all. Financial advisors can benefit people of all ages and income levels.
Okay.
It's about finding someone you trust who understands your financial goals and can help you achieve them.
Okay, so we've got actionable advice on defining goals,
Yeah.
creating a budget, investing, managing debt, and even seeking professional guidance.
Right. We've covered a lot.
But beyond these practical steps, what about the mindset piece?
Oh, the mindset. That's huge.
How can we develop a healthier relationship with money
Right.
and overcome those limiting beliefs that might be holding us back?
That's a great question, and it's crucial to address the emotional side of money,
Right.
our beliefs and attitudes about. Money can have a significant impact on our financial decisions.
So it's not just about the numbers, it's about our relationship with money.
Exactly. If you have negative beliefs about money, such as feeling like you're not good with it or that you'll never be wealthy, those beliefs can become self-fulfilling prophecies.
So how do we shift those negative beliefs and develop a more positive and empowering mindset around money?
It starts with awareness.
Awareness.
Yeah, become aware of your thoughts and feelings about money.
Okay.
Where did those beliefs come from? Are they serving you or holding you back?
So it's like taking inventory of your money mindset.
Exactly. Once you've identified those limiting beliefs, you can start challenging them
Okay.
and replacing them with more empowering ones.
I like that.
Surround yourself with positive financial role models. Read books and articles about financial literacy and seek support from financial coaches or therapists if needed.
So it's about actively shaping your money mindset rather than letting it be dictated by past experiences or societal conditioning.
Absolutely. You have the power to choose your thoughts and beliefs about money.
Yeah.
And by doing so, you can create a more abundant and fulfilling financial future.
All right, so we've explored the practical side of personal finance,
Yeah.
and we've delved into the importance of cultivating a positive money mindset. But there's another layer to financial well-being that we haven't touched on yet, the social and ethical implications of money.
Oh, that's a really important point.
Money isn't just a personal matter. It's deeply intertwined with our social systems and values.
It is.
So it's about more than just managing our own finances.
Right.
It's about understanding the bigger picture of how money impacts the world around us.
Absolutely. Our financial choices have ripple effects.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Give us some examples. How can our financial choices have a positive impact on the world around us?
Well, supporting local businesses, investing in sustainable companies, donating to charities, and choosing ethical banking institutions are all ways to align your money with your values.
Yeah. So it's about conscious consumerism, ethical investing,
Yeah,
and using our financial power to create positive change.
exactly. And it's important to be aware of the potential negative impacts of certain financial practices, such as predatory lending
Okay.
or investing in industries that harm the environment.
So it's not just about making money. It's about making money responsibly and using it as a force for good.
I love that it's about aligning your finances with your ethics.
Right.
And making choices that benefit both yourself and the world around you.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive. from the basics of budgeting and investing to the more nuanced aspects of money mindset
Yeah.
and the social impact of our financial choices.
It's been a really comprehensive discussion.
It has been an incredible journey, and I'm feeling energized to put all this knowledge into action.
Me too. It's always inspiring to talk about personal finance.
Okay, so we've got all this knowledge,
Yeah.
but now what?
Now what?
How do we actually apply it to our lives and make it stick?
That's a great question, and it's where a lot of people get stuck.
Right.
They understand the concepts, but they don't know how to translate them into action.
So let's bridge that gap.
Let's do it.
Give us some practical tips for taking this knowledge and turning it into real-world results.
Okay, so first things first.
Yeah.
You need to create a system for managing your money.
Okay, a system.
Yeah, this could be anything from a simple spreadsheet to a budgeting app.
Okay.
The key is to find something that works for you.
Right, and that you'll actually use.
Exactly. Consistency is key.
Okay, so we've got our system in place.
Yeah.
Now what?
Next, you need to set some financial goals.
Set goals, we talked about that earlier.
I did, but it's worth repeating.
Right.
Because without clear goals, it's easy to get sidetracked.
So how do we make sure our goals are effective?
Your goals should be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound.
Smart goals. I love it.
It's a classic framework for a reason.
So once we have our SMART goals,
Yeah.
what's the next step?
Then you need to create a plan to achieve those goals.
A plan.
Yeah, this is where your budget comes in.
Okay.
Your budget is essentially a roadmap for your money.
Mm-hmm.
It outlines how you'll allocate your income to reach your goals.
So it's not just about tracking expenses.
Right.
It's about making conscious choices
Yeah.
about where your money goes.
Exactly. It's about aligning your spending with your values and priorities.
Okay, so we've got our system, our goals, and our budget.
We do.
What else can we do to set ourselves up for financial success?
Build good financial habits.
Okay, habits.
Yeah, things like automating your savings, paying your bills on time,
No.
and tracking your net worth.
Okay, so it's about consistency and discipline.
It is building good financial habits takes time and effort,
Right.
but it's worth it in the long run.
Okay, so we're being consistent, we're building good habits.
Yeah.
What else can we do to stay on track?
Don't be afraid to ask for help.
Ask for help.
Yeah, if you're struggling with something or just need some guidance, don't hesitate to reach out to a financial advisor or counselor.
Okay. It's not a sign of weakness to ask for help.
Not at all. In fact, it's a sign of strength.
Right. It shows that you're taking your finances seriously.
Exactly. And that you're committed to making smart choices.
All right, so we've got a system, we've got goals, we've got a budget, we're building good habits, and we're not afraid to ask for help.
That's a great foundation.
That's a solid foundation for financial success.
It is, but there's one more thing I want to emphasize.
Okay, what's that?
Celebrate your wins along the way.
Celebrate your wins.
Yeah, it's important to acknowledge your progress and give yourself credit for the steps you're taking.
I like that because personal finance can feel like a slog sometimes,
It can.
especially when you're focused on paying down debt or saving for a big goal.
Right, so it's important to take the time to appreciate how far you've come.
Okay, so we're celebrating our wins.
We are.
We're staying motivated. But what about those unexpected setbacks? Because let's be real, life happens.
It does.
And sometimes we get thrown off course.
For sure.
So how do we deal with those financial curveballs?
Well, the first step is to not panic.
Don't panic. Easier said than done.
It can be, but it's important to remember that setbacks are normal.
Okay.
They're part of the journey.
All right. So we take a deep breath
Yeah,
and we remind ourselves that this too shall pass.
exactly. And then we take a step back and assess the situation.
Assess the situation.
Yeah, what happened? What are your options? What can you learn from this experience?
Okay. So it's about turning those setbacks into learning opportunities.
It is. Every challenge is an opportunity for growth.
Okay. So we've talked about creating a system, setting goals, budgeting, building habits, asking for help, celebrating wins,
We have.
and dealing with setbacks. Is there anything else we should keep in mind as we navigate this journey to financial well-being?
Yes, actually there is.
Okay, what's that?
Be patient.
Be patient.
Yeah, financial progress takes time.
Okay.
There's no quick fix.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly. So don't get discouraged if you don't see results overnight. Just keep taking those small steps.
Right.
And eventually you'll reach your destination.
Okay, so we're being patient.
Yeah,
We're persistent. And we're trusting the process.
absolutely. And remember that financial well-being is a journey, not a destination.
Oh.
It's about continuous learning, growth, and adaptation.
And it looks different for everyone.
It does. There's no one-size-fits-all approach to personal finance.
Right. It's about finding what works for you.
Absolutely. So experiment.
Yeah.
Try different things. See what sticks.
And don't be afraid to adjust your course along the way.
Right. Life is constantly changing, and so should your financial plan.
Okay, so we've talked about a lot of practical steps.
We have.
But what about the mental and emotional aspects of money?
Oh, yeah. That's a big part of it, too.
How can we cultivate a healthier relationship with money?
Well, one important thing is to be mindful of your spending habits.
Mindful spending.
Yeah. Pay attention to how you feel when you spend money.
Okay.
Are you buying things out of impulse, or are you making conscious choices?
Interesting. So it's about checking in with yourself
It is.
before you swipe that credit card.
Right. And another important thing is to practice gratitude.
Gratitude for our money.
Yeah. It sounds simple, but it can make a big difference.
How so?
When you focus on what you have
Yeah.
rather than what you don't, you shift your perspective from scarcity to abundance.
So it's about appreciating the money we have
Right.
and using it wisely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And finally, don't be afraid to talk about money.
Talk about money.
Yeah, money is often seen as a taboo subject.
Yeah.
But the more we talk about it,
Right.
the less power it has over us.
Okay, so open up the conversation.
Yeah, talk to your friends, your family, your partner. Share your experiences.
Okay.
Ask for advice.
Right.
Learn from each other.
Because we're all in this together.
Personal finance is a journey we all share.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We have.
From understanding the basics of recession and broke to exploring the more nuanced aspects of money mindset
Yeah.
and the importance of building good financial habits.
It's been a really comprehensive discussion.
It has, and I hope our listeners are feeling inspired to take control of their financial lives.
Me too. I think financial literacy is so important.
Right, it's empowering.
It gives you the tools you need to make informed decisions and create a more secure and fulfilling future.
Okay, so before we wrap up,
Yeah.
I want to circle back to one of the key themes we touched on earlier.
Okay, which one is that?
The idea of financial freedom.
Oh, yeah, financial freedom.
What does it actually mean and how can we achieve it?
That's a great question, and it's something that a lot of people strive for.
Right, it's like the holy grail of personal finance.
It is, but it means different things to different people.
Okay, so what are some of the different ways people define financial freedom?
Well, for some people, it's about having enough money to retire early.
Okay, early retirement.
Yeah, for others, it's about being debt-free or having the flexibility to work on their own terms.
Right, being your own boss.
Exactly. And for others, it's simply about having peace of mind, knowing that they're financially secure.
So it's really about aligning your finances with your values and priorities.
It is. Financial freedom is about having the resources to live the life you want
Right.
without being limited by money.
Okay, so how do we achieve this elusive financial freedom?
Well, there's no magic formula,
Okay.
but it starts with taking control of your finances
Okay.
and making conscious choices about how you earn, spend, save, and invest your money.
So it's about being proactive rather than reactive.
Exactly. It's about taking charge of your financial destiny.
All right, so we need to be proactive.
We do.
We need to be intentional.
Yeah.
But what about the role of luck?
Oh, luck.
Does luck play a role in financial success?
Of course, luck plays a role in life in general. But I don't think it's the deciding factor when it comes to financial well-being.
Okay, so it's not just about being in the right place at the right time.
Not entirely.
Okay.
I think it's more about creating your own luck
Creating your own luck. I like that. How do we do that?
by putting yourself out there, taking risks, and being open to opportunities.
So it's about taking action and creating momentum.
Exactly. The more you do, the more opportunities will come your way.
So don't just sit around waiting for something good to happen.
Right.
Go out there and make it happen.
I love that. Go out there and make your own luck.
So much of what we talked about today comes down to mindset.
Yeah, mindset is everything.
If you believe you can achieve financial freedom, you're much more likely to actually make it happen.
Absolutely. Your beliefs shape your reality.
Okay, so we've got to believe in ourselves.
Yeah.
We've got to have a positive outlook. But what about the practical steps?
Okay, what about those?
What are some tangible things we can do right now?
All right, so here are a few actionable steps you can take.
I'm ready.
First, create a budget and stick to it.
Okay, budgeting, we talked about that.
We did, but it's so important.
Right.
It's the foundation of financial stability.
Okay, so create a budget.
Yeah. Track your income and expenses and make sure you're spending less than you earn.
Okay, spend less than you earn. Got it.
Next, start investing.
Investing.
Even if it's just a small amount each month.
Okay.
The key is to start early and let compound interest work its magic.
Compound interest, that snowball effect.
Exactly. The sooner you start, the better.
Okay, so we're budgeting, we're investing. What else?
Pay down your debt.
Debt, that's a big one.
It is, but it's not insurmountable.
Okay, so how do we tackle debt effectively?
Create a debt repayment plan and stick to it.
Okay.
There are different methods you can use, like the snowball method or the avalanche method.
Right, we talked about those earlier.
We did find one that works for you and just keep chipping away at it.
Okay, chip away at that debt. I like it.
Yeah, and finally, don't be afraid to ask for help.
Ask for help.
If you're feeling overwhelmed or just need some guidance, there are resources available to help you.
Okay, so financial advisors, credit counselors, all that good stuff.
Exactly. There are people who can help you create a personalized financial plan and get on track to achieve your goals.
So it's not a sign of weakness to ask for help?
Not at all. It's a sign of strength and intelligence.
Right. It shows that you're taking your finances seriously.
Exactly, and that you're committed to making smart choices.
So we've talked about the practical steps.
Yeah.
But I think it's also important to acknowledge the emotional side of money.
Oh, absolutely. Money is a very emotional topic.
It is. It can bring up a lot of feelings.
It can feelings of stress, anxiety, fear, excitement, all of it.
So how do we manage those emotions and make sure they're not driving our financial decisions?
Well, one thing you can do is to practice mindfulness.
Mindfulness.
Yeah. Pay attention to your thoughts and feelings about money.
Okay.
Notice when you're feeling stressed or anxious and explore why.
So kind of like a check-in.
Yeah, like a money check-in. And another thing you can do is to cultivate gratitude.
Gratitude for our money.
Exactly. When you focus on what you have rather than what you don't, you shift your perspective from scarcity to abundance.
I like that, scarcity to abundance.
It's a powerful shift.
Okay, so we're being mindful, we're practicing gratitude.
Yeah.
What else can we do to improve our relationship with money?
Don't be afraid to talk about it.
Talk about money.
Yeah, money is often seen as a taboo subject,
It is.
but the more we talk about it, the less power it has over us.
So open up the conversation.
Exactly. Talk to your friends, your family, your partner. Share your experiences. Ask for advice. Learn from each other.
Because we're all in this together.
We are. Personal finance is a journey we all share.
All right, so as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
I want to leave our listeners with one final thought.
Okay. What's that?
Financial well-being is not a destination. It's a journey.
I love that it's an ongoing process.
It's about making conscious choices every day,
Right.
building good habits,
Right.
and constantly learning and growing.
Exactly. And it's about finding what works for you.
Right.
There's no one-size-fits-all approach to personal finance.
So experiment, try different things, and don't be afraid to ask for help along the way.
Right. And remember, financial freedom is within your reach.
It is.
You just have to take that first step.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into personal finance.
It's been a pleasure.
I hope you learned something new and feel empowered to take control of your financial future.
Me too. Remember, knowledge is power, and you are now one step closer to achieving your financial goals.
Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep taking those small steps towards a brighter financial future.
See you next time.